Anyone have changes that need to be made or a motion?
No, I motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting.
Second.
Thank you, Cynthia. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen,
I have this abstain, right? Because I wasn't here last.
It's fine.
Then I approve.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. We have 4 public hearings tonight. Right, yes, 4 public hearings. I need to read the opening statement for public hearings, and then we'll move to the public hearings, one at a time. The Planning and Zoning Commission holds public hearings as required by law and provides recommendations to City Council on matters relating to land use, planning, zoning, and the subdivision of land. Any person who has an interest in the subject matter of a hearing will have the opportunity to provide testimony and present evidence to the commission during the public hearing. Speakers are required to conduct themselves in an orderly and respectful manner. Disruptive behavior, yelling, speaking out of turn, or other inappropriate behaviors will not be tolerated. Additionally, the following applies to the person addressing the commission. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless authorized additional time by me. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address, and speakers must speak clearly so that we can hear you. I will announce the subject matter of each hearing separately, followed by a report from staff. The chairperson, I, will then open the public hearing to the applicant, followed by those in favor of the application, and then those opposed to the application. Once everyone's had an opportunity to speak, I'll close the public hearing. And at that point in time, the commission will discuss the matters brought before us in regards to each public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall base their recommendation and/or decision on information and evidence presented during the public hearing. This decision, if required by the application, will be forwarded in writing to City Council for further consideration. With that understanding, I'm going to call the first hearing. It's rezone or REZN 21-004. Public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 37 hundredths of an acre, that's 0.37 of an acre, to general commercial located at 201 West State Highway 174. Karen or Chris, whoever has this, let's hear your report.
All right. Give me a minute. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see on here. So this issue is a rezone. Daniel Villars has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 37 hundredths, 0.37 of an acre to general commercial C2 from local commercial C1. The property subject to this rezoning currently has approximately 0.37 acres of local commercial C1 zoning. The proposed zoning map amendment seeks to rezone the property to general commercial C2. The parcel is currently occupied by the applicant's business, Villars Automotive Center. The property has been the site of an automotive repair center since 1975. The city's current ordinances only allow such a use in the general commercial C2 zoning district. The applicant is seeking to rezone to bring the parcel's occupied use into compliance. It's currently there by right of being grandfathered into the zoning ordinance. The following paragraph contains brief analysis of present site conditions as well as the proposal's relationship to the adopted plans of the city. Regarding consistency with the comprehensive plan, the city's comprehensive plan generally encourages conformance with the municipal zoning ordinance through myriad methods. Appropriate locations for rezonings are described generally throughout the plan with regard to the relationship of land at particular locations to infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. The plan more particularly describes appropriate future land uses through the depiction of a future land use map. In this case, the future land use map depicts the subject property as having a neighborhood commercial flume designation. The city's adopted 2005 land use plan has identified neighborhood commercial flume designation as retail and office uses, including small neighborhood shopping centers and isolated retail businesses. The 2005 land use plan identifies land use goals and objectives relating to commercial development as follows. Goal: to promote the maintenance and revitalization of existing commercial areas, especially along arterial roads and highways. Objective: to promote the maintenance and revitalization of existing commercial areas. General trend of development along State Highway 174 and existing and continued expectation. The general trend of development along State Highway 174 is an existing and continued expectation of commercial intensification. Regarding the compatibility with surrounding land uses, the subject property is currently surrounded by medium density single family R1M to the north, local commercial C1 to the east, two family R2 and local commercial C1 to the west, and local commercial across State Highway 174 to the south. The land uses permitted in the general commercial C2 zoning district include the current use of automotive sales and service, including bodywork, painting, frame alignment, restoration, or reconstruction, excluding the storage of wrecked or scrap vehicles, parts, and other dismantled cars and trucks. Regarding the capacity to serve potential development and land use, municipal water and sewer service, the parcel is currently served by an 8-inch water main at the termination along North Walnut Avenue. The municipal water system currently serves the existing use at this location. The sanitary sewer flows from the parcel directly to the wastewater treatment facility. The wastewater treatment facility currently serves the existing development at this location. A traffic impact study was not required for this rezoning due to the inclusion of the existing use. Obviously, it's already located there. We weren't going to ask them to do a traffic impact study. The parcel does not contain special flood hazard area, and the subject parcel does not contain any identified sinkholes. Staff considers the proposed zoning map amendment rezoning to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan and consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses and able to adequately be served by municipal facilities. Based upon this analysis performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval of this application.
Thank you. Is there anyone here for the applicant who wishes to speak? Did I hear a yes?
Let me double check and make sure he wasn't there. Let me check real quick. No, I don't believe anyone's on in support.
Okay. Is there, I asked for the applicant, is there anyone that's here supporting the application besides the applicant? Not hearing anyone. Is there anyone opposed to the application? Gone. I'm going to close the hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, what's your pleasure on this? Questions or motion?
Motion to approve REZN 21-004, an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 37 hundredths of an acre to general commercial located at 201 West State Highway 174.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Hyder. Cynthia, your microphone is off.
Sorry about that. Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to our second hearing. This is PDD 21-001, public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 40.9 acres located in the 1800 block of East Miller from agricultural AG to Mason Ridge Planned Development District, PDD. Is there anyone here who, I'm sorry, staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you. Mason Ridge LLC has applied for the change in zoning classification of approximately 40.9 acres of property located in the 1800 block of East Miller from agricultural to the Mason Ridge Planned Development District, or PDD. The property is currently unimproved agricultural property containing no structures. The applicant is proposing the rezoning of this property to the PDD to allow for residential development consisting of 77 residential lots. The lots will range in size from approximately 9,147 square feet to 30,927 square feet. The development will also contain infrastructure to serve the development and open space amenities. Specifically, the applicant's proposal includes the following elements. The overall density is 1.94 units per acre. Phase 1 shall consist of 26 lots, which is approximately 9.7 acres. Phase 2 will contain the remainder of the lots, totaling 51 lots and 19 acres. The setbacks are differentiated between the PDD and our typical zoning designations. For their PDD, they are asking for a front setback of 20 feet, a rear setback of 25, and a side yard setback of 6. In addition, they'll have a minimum lot size of 9,000 square feet with a minimum width of 80 feet and a minimum depth of 100 feet. When reviewing planned development district proposals, we do look at the relationship of the proposal to adopted plans of the city. The purpose of the planned development district is to allow for mixed use, unconventional, or innovative arrangements of land and public facilities, which would be difficult to develop under the conventional land use and development regulations of the city. So we do review it in compliance with the following. Proposed development plan shall contain a mixture or variation of land uses and densities. The Mason Ridge PDD consists of 77 residential lots with a reduced front yard setback. The proposed development plan shall contain the provision of all infrastructure deemed necessary to serve the potential development. The infrastructure plan for Mason Ridge does include the provisions for an adequate supply of water and sewer, a plan for stormwater management, and a local street network connecting to East Miller Road. The proposed development plan shall involve design elements that promote the City of Republic's comprehensive plan and other adopted plans of the city. The Mason Ridge development does promote the expansion of residential development and locations that are supported by cities' water, sewer, and transportation networks. This is the case for this proposal. And finally, the proposed development plan shall involve all of the design elements intended to lessen congestion, to secure safety from fire, panic, and other dangers, to promote health and safety and general welfare, et cetera. The Mason Ridge Development Plan does include a local street network connecting with 2 new access points to East Miller Road. The approximately 40-acre development will exclusively utilize these access points to serve the development. The plan also contains a provision for open space and green space along the floodplain or creek area. The developer is considering working with the Parks Department on a possible Parks Trail connection in the future. We also do review PDDs for consistency with the comp plan. Again, when we review these, we're looking at the relationship of land at particular locations to the infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. The future land use map in this particular case does indicate a flume designation of single-family residential development at 1 to 6 units per acre. This does include the low density, medium density, and high density zoning districts, which would equate to the medium density, which is what the developer is asking for here. Land use plan goals and objectives. We're looking to diversify the Republic housing market to promote all types of residential development and improve the quality of all types of housing in the city. We're encouraging the development of high quality housing regardless of the size, type, and density of housing being constructed. For compatibility with surrounding land uses, the subject property is currently surrounded by existing single-family residential subdivisions and large parcel Greene County agricultural properties with single-family homes. To the north, we have high-density single-family residential. To the south, we have the Lakes at Schuler Ridge Planned Development District. To the east, Greene County Ag, and to the west, Greene County Agricultural. And finally, we do look at our ability to serve a proposed development. The current development is able to be served by Republic Sanitary Sewer, excuse me, and is in direct proximity to water service. The development of the subject 40 acres will require the extension of a new water main from the north side of East Miller Road into the development in 2 locations, approximately across from East Fox Ridge Trail and then South Basswood Avenue, creating a looped water system throughout phase 1 and also phase 2. The applicant is currently working with city administration regarding the construction of the water mains to serve the development through a developer's agreement. The development will be served by existing gravity sanitary sewer that's running through the middle of the property. It flows to the Schuler Creek lift station before being pumped back through a series of force mains, the wastewater treatment facility on the north side of town. The water system, lift stations, and the wastewater treatment facility do have sufficient capacity to serve the proposed development. For transportation, the subject parcel is currently accessible for residential access from East Miller Road. The applicant is proposing 2 new local street connections to serve the development, aligning with East Fox Ridge Trail and then South Basswood Avenue. The impact on the city's transportation network was evaluated by the city engineer through trip generation standards provided by the Institute of Transportation Engineers. These standards include uses and associated number of trips for particular uses. East Miller Road is classified as a secondary arterial road. According to these standards, the road shall handle between 3,000 and 14,000 trips per day. Current traffic data available indicates approximately 501 trips per day on the roadway. The increase of traffic generated by the development of 770 trips per day does not warrant roadway improvements. The applicant has included a 12-foot right-hand turn lane on East Miller Road onto East Fox Ridge Trail as a part of the development plan to assist with the general flow of traffic into and out of the development, which will be constructed during the first phase of infrastructure development. The applicant is proposing an innovative method for stormwater management, which will consist of utilizing the existing natural topography, drainage of the area The stormwater management plan will be evaluated by the Builds Department, Engineering and Floodplain Management staff in cooperation with the stormwater engineers from Greene County's Resource Development Department for impacts on the floodplain, the floodway, adjacent properties, as well as compliance with the city's stormwater management ordinance. Finally, the subject parcel does contain a special flood hazard area or floodplain. The development of the subject parcel will require compliance with the city's floodplain ordinance. As far as sinkholes, the property does not contain any type of identified sinkholes. And finally, staff's recommendation for the proposed zoning map amendment for the planned development district. We have found it to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, consistent with the trend of development in the area, compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be served by municipal facilities. Specifically, the proposed development can be served by the city's municipal water and sanitary sewer services and the city's transportation network. Based upon this analysis, staff is recommending approval of this application.
Thank you, Karen. Is there anyone here for the applicant that wishes to speak?
Dave Bodine with Pinnacle Design Consultants.
Okay.
I'm at
No.
304 West Erie Street in Springfield, Missouri, representing the developers Mason Ridge LLC. Just wanted to say thank you to staff as well as Planning and Zoning Board. Karen, as always, has done an excellent job of detailing our project. I really have nothing to add, but wanted to introduce myself and make myself available for questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that is in support of the application that wishes to speak? Hearing no one, is there anyone that's opposed to the application that wishes to speak? I'd say it's gone. We'll close that hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
Okay, so this one's a little near and dear to my heart, so I'm gonna shoot for the hip on a couple of these questions because I'm on Fox Ridge Trail and my house faces this entire development or proposed development. One, the concrete barrier right across the road there, right across from Miller, that collects all that storm water, it shoots out in that field and floods it every time it rains. What are you guys doing to like what's the plan to take care of that? Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of flooded houses.
Brandon, what concrete barrier on Miller Road towards Len?
No, it's between Fox Ridge Trail and Sycamore. There is a giant concrete, it looks like it looks like a Civil War fort. It's a big concrete barrier that collects all the drainage. But it's got a hole that shoots across Miller. And so all the water collects and then the water shoots into the field that the phase one's gonna be.
Hey, Brandon, it's Andrew.
Hey,
If you notice on the PDD plan, there's a floodplain in the middle of the development. So the homes would be out of any of the 100-year, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, the 100-year elevation, and probably above that, even just a little bit more. So
Andrew, the field is a lower elevation than my house. I mean, I'm just telling you, I see it every time it rains heavy. There's a
I get that. I don't know that, knowing the terrain of that development, I'm not sure that the homes are going to be in the area that's of flooding concern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brandon, if you look at the actual plot, we've got two different designations for the floodway and the floodplain area. The larger area that you see that's diagonal stripes is actually the 2010, which is the effective mapping currently. The 2019 is on there also, which is actually a smaller area. And I actually got that backwards. The white area is actually the 2010 and the new striped area is the 2019. But as you can see, all of the lots themselves, although they're abutting the actual floodplain, they're on the north side. The lots themselves will not contain any area of floodplain. And each of the lots that are adjacent to an area of floodplain will have a minimum finished floor elevation, which required by ordinance will be 1 foot above the base flood elevation. That's just additional requirements that we have for our stormwater and floodplain management ordinance to ensure that although what FEMA is telling us is this is the area where it's most likely to flood, we have an extra precautionary foot to ensure that those homes don't actually flood.
Okay. Yeah, we're that, like when I'm looking at the plat, I'm talking about lots 2, 3, and 4 primarily.
Hey, Brandon, this is Garrett Brickner.
Yes, sir.
I know what you're talking about, that like outflow from like a detention basin.
Yeah, I'm neighbors with the basin. Like it's in my front yard.
Yeah, well, that's going to be part of the infrastructure design for this subdivision. We're not quite to that point yet, but they will have to convey that where it comes across the street, probably along the extension of Fox Ridge and then into that floodplain.
So are we planning on doing, okay, so thank you guys. I appreciate that. I think I got 4 of you guys to answer that. So thank you. Number 2 with this, and then I'll let any of the other commissioners if they've got anything going on. But number 2 with this, oh, see, I lost my train of thought. What was I? Nope, never mind. I don't have a number 2. I yield.
Okay, sure.
I got a question. So on the document here, it says it's Miller Road is a secondary arterial road. I know at that part of the road, that's when it narrows significantly from the rest of Miller heading towards ZZ. I know they said they're putting a turn lane in there, but is that taken into consideration with that amount of trips with the narrowing of the road? I live on Miller, so I know heading that way, it can get pretty sketchy, especially in that area with higher traffic. I know it said with 770 trips per day does not warrant roadway improvements. Like, what is the precedent there?
Hey, Chris, it's Andrew. So one thing we looked at with this development and what we look at with every development is proportionate, fair share of improvements. And what we believe they're doing here when they say they're going to build a turn lane into Mason Ridge is that what we believe is proportionate. And what the city's actually going to work on as a part of this development is some widening project from Miller and Lynn out to Mason Ridge. And I'd like to tell you that that's going to happen at the same time. We're going to try it as hard as we can, but there are some constraints with right-of-way along Miller that a private entity like the developers of Mason Ridge, you couldn't reasonably ask them to facilitate the right-of-way necessary for that's on other private property. So they don't have the same capability that the city does as far as acquiring right away and making improvements. So that's kind of how we looked at their traffic generation and the condition of Miller. And we're doing our best to make those improvements, likely to widen the pavement at a minimum. But it's definitely an area that we're keeping an eye on.
When you say widening, do you mean shoulders? Do you mean widening of the actual road? Gravel? What does that mean?
Yes. No, we're looking at all of it. What we'll do is we'll go through and look at existing right of way versus a future need. So we'll look at the full build out of a primary arterial, which is more than what Miller is today. And we'll go ahead and try to secure that right away. Now in the intermediate, we may just add shoulders, paved shoulders, in order to give more driving lane width. But eventually the full primary artillery build out will be the goal.
Thank you, Kevin, because that was my second concern that I just totally escaped my head. Because once you get past Lynn on Miller, between Lynn and ZZ, like, I mean, sometimes you feel like you're just driving straight onto traffic.
Yep.
All right.
Any other questions? I had one, just out of curiosity. The street that's effectively platted over the water, what is that going to be?
At this point, we're unsure. It might be a bridge of some sort. It may be a giant box culvert. I think Dave might have some more information as he's been working on the design.
Yeah, a preliminary indication would be that it's a box culvert, approximately 4-foot depth with a width to be determined. But I think numbers wise, that's where we're at. Rather than a clear span bridge structure, it would be a box culvert with wing walls on both sides. And if it's determined, would there be a center wall? I'd also mention, per the previous discussion, part of this proposal, the developers are donating or are providing the right of way along Miller Road for the entire length of the project for that widening that was earlier discussed.
Easy.
Hey, real quick, I want to address, Karen mentioned that the city is looking at a developer's agreement for the water line installation on this project. And just to touch on that briefly, we don't always partner on developments for the installation of infrastructure. We look for a development that is going to add amenity or value to the community, fulfill a need or avoid in certain types of housing that our community is lacking at the moment. So with Mason Ridge, we feel like we're meeting a lot of those needs. So that's why we're offering to partner for the installation of infrastructure on this project.
Any other comments?
I did have a question about the water in the floodplain going off into county. Since there's a lot of development in terms of, concrete, asphalt, that's going to increase the runoff and the speed and velocity of the water. What additional concerns are there with the water going to the county or in future developments downstream?
Yeah, we've been working closely with Greene County Resource Management. So they will be reviewing the actual stormwater plans and also the development plans once we get to the infrastructure stage for compliance, both with city ordinances, with our review teams, and also with their ordinances, which are slightly different than ours. So effectively, they have two different sets of stormwater regulations that they will have to meet in addition to the floodplain requirements of both the City of Republic and Greene County.
Any other questions or comments?
Good luck with cell phone service. I recommend to vote to approve the PDD 21-001 application to change the zoning classification of approximately 40.9 acres located in the 1800 block of East Miller from agricultural to Mason Ridge Planned Development District as long as they don't start building before 6 a.m. and wake me up.
Is that actually a part of your motion?
I believe it is.
We've got rules for that.
I don't know that we can do that.
Strike the preview or strike the last 8 words of my
Got
motion.
it. Nothing about 6 a.m., huh? Okay. Got it. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right. Call the roll.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder. Commissioner Hyder,
She's on mute again.
You're muted.
Sorry, I've got my family here. Aye.
thank you. Commissioner Hahn,
As long as my internet doesn't keep falling out from anything.
and Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, great. Let's go to the third hearing, PDD 21-002. Hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 40 acres located northwest of the intersection of West Farm Road 170 and South Farm Road 101 from the Dean Hartman Planned Development District to Boyce Planned Development District. Karen,
Thank you.
staff?
JSB Investments LLC has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 40 acres of property located northwest of the intersection of West Farm Road 170 and South Farm Road 101 from the Dean Hartman PDD to the Boyce Planned Development District. The property is currently unimproved agricultural property containing no structures. The applicant is proposing the rezoning of this property to a PDD to allow for a mixed-use development consisting of 3 general commercial or C2 lots, 3 multifamily or R3 lots, and 1 regional detention basin. The development plan also contains new water, sanitary sewer, and stormwater system improvements to support the development and a required collector road connecting US Highway 60 with West Republic Road. Specifically, the applicant's proposal includes the following elements. On lot 1, which is 1.8 acres, it'll effectively be zoned general commercial. The uses are everything that's allowed in the general commercial zoning district. Setbacks, landscaping, and buffering will all be in compliance with the C2 zoning ordinance. The same on lot 2, which is approximately 2 acres. It'll be zoned general commercial or C2. Lot 3 is 12.5 acres with multifamily R3 zoning. Again, the permitted uses, setbacks, and landscaping and buffering will be in compliance with the R3 zoning ordinance. For density, we have 252 units at 20 dwelling units per acre, 2 spaces per dwelling unit for a total of 504 parking spaces. On lot 4, which is 2.8 acres, again, a general commercial lot, permitted uses, setbacks, landscaping, and buffering in compliance with the general commercial zoning ordinance. Lot 5 is a regional detention basin. Lot 6 is 3.8 acres of multifamily residential. Permitted uses, setbacks, and landscaping buffering are consistent with the R3 zoning district. This density is 23 units for 6 dwelling units per acre and 56 parking spaces. And finally, lot 7 is approximately 11 acres. It is multifamily residential R3 with a designation for 55 plus. Permitted uses include multifamily residential. It will have a deed restriction limiting occupants to age 55 plus. Setbacks, landscaping, and buffering will be in compliance with the R3 zoning district. The density will be 207 units for 19 dwelling units per acre. For parking, we have 330 parking spaces, which equals 1.64 spaces per dwelling unit, with that reduction due to the deed restriction. When staff looks at a planned development district proposal, we're again looking at the PDD regulations and the intention of these ordinances. The Boyce PDD is a mixed-use development consisting of commercial and multifamily residential dwelling units that contain townhomes, apartments, and senior living. The Boyce PDD infrastructure plan includes provisions for adequate supply of municipal water and sewer, a plan for stormwater management, and construction and dedication of a collector road from US Highway 60 to West Republic Road, identified on both the city's transportation plan and the Ozark Transportation Organization's major thoroughfare plan. The City of Republic's comprehensive plan promotes the expansion of commercial and residential development at locations supported by city's water, sewer, and transportation networks. The Boyce development can be adequately supported by the city's existing capacities for water, sewer, and transportation. And finally, the plan does include the construction of that collector road connecting US Highway 60 and Republic Road. The multifamily residential and commercial lots within the development themselves will utilize the new street with no direct connections to US Highway 60 or Republic Road. The flume designation for this particular parcel includes two different designations, high density residential and also the neighborhood commercial. So those designations, the high density flume designation specifically relates to the multifamily residential development district, or the R3, which indicates a dwelling unit per acre of 8+. And then the neighborhood commercial includes retail and office uses, including small neighborhood shopping centers and retail businesses. Now, that is effectively different than the zoning designation, but the flume designation are showing those two particular classifications. For the land use goals and objectives of the comp plan, again, we are looking for planning for higher density development that reduces the cost and maintenance of new infrastructure improvements, including water, sewer, and stormwater, and roads. We're diversifying the Republic housing market, promoting all types of residential development. We're encouraging the development of high quality housing, regardless of the size, type, and density of housing being constructed. And finally, we're striving to diversify the city's economy to absorb more retail, office, and manufacturing. The subject parcel is surrounded by existing commercially zoned property and large parcel Greene County agricultural properties with single family homes. To the north, we have the general commercial or C2 zoning district, which is in red. To the south, we have agricultural, which is in green. We also have the Greene County agricultural, which is kind of the muted white. To the east, we have West Republic Road and MoDOT property. And to the west, we have the general commercial C2 property. The site is currently served by City of Republic Sanitary Sewer and Water Service. The development of the subject 40 acres will require the extension of a new water main from the existing 10-inch main parallel to the south side of US Highway 60 along the new collector road serving the development. That particular line will connect to the existing 12-inch water main on West Republic Road. Excuse me. To create a looped water system. The development will be served by existing gravity sanitary sewer mains running along the northern and southern property lines of the parcel. The sanitary sewer does flow to the McLehaney lift station and then to Schuler Creek before being pumped back through a series of force mains to the wastewater treatment facility. The water system, lift stations, and the wastewater treatment facility do have sufficient capacity to serve the proposed development. As far as transportation, the proposed development plan included an evaluation of the impact of the development on the city's transportation network. A traffic impact study, or a TIS, was submitted for the project, which was evaluated by the city engineer and also our partner agency, MoDOT. The TIS evaluated the transportation impact through trip generation standards. We use, again, the ITE trip generation manual to come up with the numbers for the particular areas and uses within the development area. The results from the TIS indicate the following improvements are required. It will be phased and reviewed during infrastructure review and constructed during the initial phase of construction. So right in, right out from the Collector Street onto US Highway 60, which is up there near between Lot 1 and Lot 2. There'll be right in, right out. Right-hand turn lane from US Highway 60 to the Collector Street. A right-hand turn lane from Republic Road onto the Collector Street, and a left-hand turn lane from the Collector to Republic Road. No parcel within the development will have direct access to US Highway 60 or Republic Road or State Highway M. All lots have direct access to the construction of this new Collector Road. The development plan contains 2 areas designated for stormwater detention. They are designed to control the release of stormwater from the development. The detention areas and all open space common areas will be owned and maintained by the developer. The subject parcel does not contain any floodplain areas. The subject parcel does contain several identified sinkholes on the northern portion, and then also on the southern portion of the property. A sinkhole analysis report will be submitted, reviewed, and approved during the infrastructure design process. City code does require a 30-foot setback, which has been included on that development plan. As far as staff recommendations, we have reviewed the plan development district proposal for the Boyce development. We have found that the plan is consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, generally consistent with the trend of development in the area, generally compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be served by municipal facilities. Specifically, the proposed development can be served by the city's municipal water and sanitary services and the city's transportation network. Based upon this analysis, staff is recommending the approval of this application.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone from the applicant that wishes to speak?
Hi, yeah, my name is Brent Stevens with H Design Group, located at 5039 South National, Springfield, Missouri. Also on the Zoom call is Jeff Boyce, who is the developer. If you have any questions for him, and Dane Seiler with CJW should be on the call as well. But again, just to kind of recap what Karen has proposed or presented, sorry. There's a 40-acre true mixed-use development that offers a range of commercial and living opportunities. There's a lot of development, as you guys know, happening at this corner. It's important when you're planning developments like this to have step-down zoning. You know, we've got a very intense corner there, and we also have existing homes to the south, and so this is a little bit of a unique opportunity in that we're basically allowed to do step-down zoning from the high intense commercial areas to the existing single family, all within our development. We've worked pretty close with city staff on this design and layout. As far as the street system, you know, opposed to developing this project traditionally with a private drive system, we are constructing and dedicating approximately 4 acres worth of land towards new public streets and utility infrastructure. Phasing of the project will start with the infrastructure improvements. Then we will work on the market rate apartments, then the townhomes, and then the gated senior community. Karen, would you mind pulling up those renderings? I just want to give you a sense of the quality of the development that we're proposing. We put some renderings together. Karen, do you have those, or do you want me to share the screen?
Yes. Just a second.
Okay. So we've got 2 pages of renderings here. These are basically that second page that she's showing. That's the clubhouse. We've spent most of our time on the multifamily, the market rate being the phase 1, but this just gives you a general sense of the design. The materials that we're looking at, it will definitely be an upscale type facility, higher quality than what we've seen in Republic. Estimated cost of this development once completed is approximately $70 million. It's a pretty extensive investment in the city. Some of the exterior amenities will be very extensive on the exterior: swimming pools, walking trails, clubhouses, dog parks, tennis courts, that sort of thing. Aaron mentioned it too. I just want to make sure that it's known that we are definitely working on the buffering between the townhomes and the 55 plus facility and the existing homes. We've got bulk plan requirements, pretty large setbacks, and the opaque screens that the City of Republic has in their ordinance. With that, I will answer any questions that the council has.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who is in favor of the application that wishes to speak? Not hearing anyone, we go to those that might be opposed to the application. Is there anyone who is opposed to this application that wishes to speak? Gone. Close this hearing.
It looks like someone raised their hand.
Get some
There.
hand raised, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry if there was somebody. Did I miss somebody, Karen?
Yes, we're one of the
Yes.
homeowners.
I'm sorry. I
We're one of the
don't
homeowners.
see her, so no one spoke up. So is it,
Melissa, if you'd like to speak?
Yes, we are trying to. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
thank
we're-
you.
We are one of the homeowners to the south, and I don't know that we know the exact status of how things like this happen, but this does a number to this changes our interest in staying because of putting in such a development. And you might be throwing 70 million at it, but it's also going to bring a lot of neighbors. Imagine we don't have much of a voice here, but it's not that interesting to us. I don't think we have much of a choice, though.
Is there any reason in particular that you're not interested in it? I think that's what we normally hear.
The noise, and then also right now the apartments that are across the street from us walk their dog in that open field, and so we kind of worry about getting trespassed on. Anything else?
Anything else?
No.
All right. Is there, I see someone I know who has got their hand up. Mr. Marcus. It's Marcus, right?
Yes.
Right.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. My concern about it, I know there's not going to be much that we can say or do about it. They mentioned the screens or something around the properties. What is that consisting of? My house will be against the 55 community, and my back property will be against everything else. So I'm getting it on two sides. So
Well,
The wooded
I
area
think,
that
I think
goes on
we,
the-
under- I think
the
we
wood-
understand the question. Can somebody provide an adequate explanation of the buffering?
Yes, and I included a buffering guide for the Planning and Zoning Commission because we are talking about two separate bufferings with the general commercial and then the R3. But as far as the R3 specifically, Adjacent to the agricultural properties, which are the properties to the south along 170, the screening requirements according to the zoning ordinance are screening requirements B, which is a semi-opaque screen. It is a opaque screen from ground to a height of 3 feet with intermittent visual obstructions to a height of 12. So examples of this would be fencing, earth berms, planted and existing vegetation. And if you do look at their plan or their development plan, they are indicating both along the northern property line of the agricultural properties to the south, which would be their southern property line, and also adjacent to the 55 plus. They do have that opaque screening, which appears to consist of both, current vegetation and planted vegetation. So according to their plan, they would meet the requirements of the R3 screening and buffering.
How wide is that screening?
It'll be approximately 15 feet.
Okay. My other question is, everything over there is going to be on city water. You've got 2 sinkholes, possibly 3 sinkholes. Well, my property and the property next to me, which also spoke, we're both on wells. Is there any consideration about if these wells go bad because we've got all the pollution coming off of these buildings and stuff?
Well, kind of 2 separate issues. If anyone is adjacent to property that's currently in the city of Republic, you could request an annexation, which would then allow you connection to city utilities or our utilities for both water and sewer. There are alternatives that we will allow a connection for properties that can be served by municipal utilities. And remain located outside of the city. And if you'd like to contact me outside of this meeting, we can definitely take a look at that and see if that's something that, we could do for you. As far as any stormwater pollution from the actual development itself, there are 2 detention basins that'll catch all of the stormwater generated by the development itself. And that would be in compliance with city code requirements for stormwater management.
Well, so our really only issue would be if our wells go bad because of this development, we're going to be out a few $1,000s ourselves.
This development's going to be served by city water.
I understand that.
It'll have no impact on your groundwater coming from your well.
You guarantee that?
Can you explain to us how the development would impact your well when it's served by city water and sewer? Like I understand the concern, but
the amount of, I'm talking, you're going to put a whole lot more fertilizers on, you're going to drop a whole lot more gasoline and things off of cars, just that sort of stuff that goes to the groundwater. It's not all going to go down Wilson's Creek. It's going to soak into the ground also. So that's my concern. When you guys put in the gymnastic building up above, the present thing you're trying to do, they did a lot of dozing and all that. It muddied my well. And I had to wait and let it settle out some. Had to get some filters and stuff and really make sure I was okay. Had it tested, that type of thing. So, there was problems there. And it could have been from the sinkhole. I don't know where it came from, what happened, but I know when they were dozing over there a few years ago, and I'm not against this property. I know I'm not stopping anything. That's my main concern. Because they put in this thing, and yes, I know, I see I could hook up to your water and sewer, but I'm going to tell you right up front, everybody I talk to about getting on your water and sewer, they tell you to stay away from it because it's so damn expensive. Okay. And that concerns me, you know.
Well, it's certainly more expensive than a well. Regionally, we're comparable to most of our surrounding communities for water and sewer utilities. So I can't really speak to that, but I would agree that it's more expensive than a private well. As far as if there was a detriment to your well that was proven to be linked to a development, the city would do what we needed to help you remedy that situation.
So, okay, you know, like I say, that's my main concern. My one concern I was about the traffic coming down toward my way. You've avoided that situation, which I'm thankful of, because we're going to have another development across the road that's going to throw some my way. All in all, that's my main concern is that situation with the well. I enjoy not having a problem with it at this point in time. So anyway, I appreciate your time. So.
Yep. We appreciate you speaking out concerns. And that's one thing I always mention through all of these. We appreciate everybody speaking for or against. That's important in this process. So we appreciate that.
You know, in reality, I'd love it for it not to be there. I've enjoyed 17 years of not having anybody back there, but I knew that she was going to drop sometime. So anyway, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr.
all your
Market.
help on getting on this thing.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak against the proposal? Okay, I think we'll close this hearing and go to our discussion. What discussion do we have, gentlemen, ladies?
The only question I had was, is there any concern about increased traffic on US 60 in terms of slowing traffic exiting that road to the right? We have already a pretty good congestion on 60, and I know the city's been working for a long time about speeding that up, and I know there's a study going on now. Is there any further concern about another road off of 60?
No, there's not. And this particular project actually with the design and construction of the collector road is actually a part of our bigger transportation plan to pull people off of US Highway 60. So we would anticipate that some traffic that would potentially go to the light and then make a right to travel on to Republic Road going towards Springfield might actually use this collector road to go that direction. And in doing so, of course, they can obviously patronize some of the businesses that are then located off of this road. So it was a road that's been identified on both our transportation plan and also on the major thoroughfare plan for a number of years, and is a requirement of the actual development of this parcel.
Thank you.
Hey, Karen, I'll add that we finished phase 1 of the Highway 60 corridor study. And we're getting ready to go into phase 2, which identifies specific intersections like this one and future intersections at like Hale Street and things like that. But one thing I do want to point out for everyone is that US 60 likely from where it changes to 55, I believe, near Republic Ford out to probably a new intersection with MM near the former McConnell property is likely to be a reduced speed corridor, probably in the 45-mile-an-hour range, just due to the volume and the type of arterial we're going to facilitate from Republic to up to James River. And MoDOT is looking at a expansion of 60 from James River Freeway to I want to say that the first phase to Hamilton to 6 lanes. So I can't put a year on that yet, but it's in in amongst the top priorities for the region.
Any other discussion?
Motion to approve PDD 21-002, public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 40 acres located northwest of the intersection of West Farm Road 170 and South Farm Road 101 from the Dean Hartman Planned Development District, PDD, to Boyce Planned Development District, PDD.
I'll second.
Thank you, Eric. Any discussion on the motion? Call the roll then.
Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews, Commissioner Hyder,
Hey.
Commissioner Crosby.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Karen, I got a question real fast. I know this might be out of sequence, but I remember last year there was a lot of talk about getting people faster from Republic to Springfield. So I guess it's kind of so are they gonna so if we're slowing down to 45 mile an hour, this might be for more Andrew, I guess, but if they're slowing people down, is that just the nature of the beast of what's going to happen, or does that kind of make sense at all? I don't know.
Yes, it does. So it's counterintuitive, and I asked the same question when we went through the study, and Dane could probably allude to this, even though he's not here for that tonight. He is doing work on the corridor, but there is some efficiency in creating what we call platoons of traffic. So by adding signalized intersections, say at a new intersection of MM, and then potentially at Hale Street down the road, we create breaks in traffic that allows traffic to move more efficiently on the side streets, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
Slowing it down doesn't always slow it down, because what I would tell you today is if you go to eastbound 60 at the peak in the morning, you're probably not going above 45 miles an hour already. So we're looking at adding an additional third lane in each direction and reducing the speed, but actually probably gaining more capacity.
Okay. Thank you.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yes.
Even faster not going on that road.
It's true. Like I
Also,
said,
yes.
Doesn't matter what the speed limit is when you're at a dead stop.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We're done with our hearings. This is sub D pre 21-001.
Chairman, we have one additional public hearing.
Oh,
I'm sorry. You're right. I skipped right over the best one. ORD 21-004, public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of amendments to sections 405.160 C2 General Commercial District Regulations and Article Roman 8 Special Use Regulations. Staff?
Thank you. So tonight we're considering to approve amendments to the sections pertaining to the general commercial zoning district and also special use regulations. The City of Republic is requesting these amendments to provide additional clarity to the language of the zoning ordinance and to also facilitate positive economic growth in the City of Republic. So I'm just going to hit the highlights. Under general commercial C2 permitted uses, we are removing boat, vehicle, and self-storage facilities. And Article 8, special use regulations. We are adding some language to indicate that buildings and land uses for a special use permit must conform to the following criteria relating to not endangering public health or safety, be in compliance with the comprehensive plan and other adopted plans of the city, and to be in harmony with the location. For permitted uses, we're adding some additional clarification. So general language clarifications We've added greenhouses and plant nurseries regarding permitted activities. And group daycare homes, we're clarifying that these are located in single-family residential zoning districts. We've removed some language. We've added temporary vendor sites. We've clarified language regarding types and duration of events. We've added permanent vendor sites. We've added vet facilities in the agricultural, general commercial C3 zoning districts. We've removed some temporary land uses that were requiring special use permits for major public improvement projects like road projects. And then finally, we are adding boat, vehicle, and self-storage facilities in C2, C3, M1, and M2 that was specifically removed from the C2 zoning district. And all of the changes are in red. I do want to highlight just a couple of things in the ordinance themselves. So we're adding temporary vendor sites and multiple zoning districts. This is to allow for retail sales of traveling or temporary vendors. This is for special use type events. And then we've also added language for a permanent vendor site in agricultural, commercial, and manufacturing zoning districts. This again is allowing for traveling vendors, but in a permanent setting. So this could be something similar to a permanent food truck vendor site. This could be seasonal sales that happen every single year, like a Christmas tree farm, a pumpkin maze, Halloween type maze. So those would be for the permanent sites that occur on a very regular basis. That's about it for the special use ordinance in the C2. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions? Discussion? Motions? Don't everybody talk at once.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Cynthia. Here, a second.
A second.
And the motion is to recommend the approval of the application for the, is that not, or yeah, recommend the approval of the application for, sorry, recommend the approval of amendments to sections 405.160 C2 General Commercial District Regulations and Article Roman 8 Special Use Regulations. I have a motion and a second.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby.
Aye.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to the next item, which I was anxious to get to begin with. Sub D pre 21-001, possible vote to recommend the approval of the application for preliminary plat for, is that Oktar Park?
Yes.
A residential subdivision consisting of approximately 17.49 acres located at 634 West Hine Street. Discussion? Staff, I guess.
Here we have an application for a preliminary plat of approximately 17.49 acres named Oktar Park, consisting of one residential lot zoned agricultural, one residential lot zoned multifamily residential, and 6 residential lots zoned 2-family residential. Streets and infrastructure are included. Regarding the conformity with preliminary plat review criteria, preliminary plats are reviewed for the conformance with the following criteria to ensure the development in the proposed location. 1, that they will not endanger the public safety or health. 2, that they will not injure the value of adjoining property or abutting property. 3, that they will be in conformity with the comprehensive plan, transportation plan, zoning code, water system master plan, wastewater system facility plan, or other plans officially adopted by the city council. And 4, that they will be in harmony with the area in which they are located. Preliminary plats are reviewed by the city planner and the city engineer for this conformance, as well as conformance with Republic's municipal code, the comprehensive plan, and all applicable adopted codes and regulations. The subject to this preliminary plat application is comprised of approximately 17.49 acres of land and is located at 634 West Hines Street. The property is split zoned with 5.7 of ag, 8.76 of multifamily, and the remainder of 2-family residential. The property contains and is used for agricultural. The ag property is used for agricultural purposes only. The following paragraphs contain brief analysis of the application's conformity with the preliminary plat review criteria identified above. Regarding consistency with the comp plan, the preliminary plat contains 1 agricultural lot with a size of 249,891 square feet, 1 multifamily lot with a size of 381,708 square feet, and 6 2-family residential lots with a minimum lot size of 13,907 square feet. We also have streets, open space, and a detention area in this plat. Regarding the transportation plan, the preliminary plat proposes 2 new local street connections. The first to North Cedar Avenue in Westbrook Center, and the second connection to West Meadows Drive in the West Meadows subdivision. Also proposed is 1 private street with connection to West Maple Drive in West Meadows subdivision. New public streets will be dedicated to the city during the final platting process. Deficient right-of-way along West Hines Street will also be dedicated to the city during the final platting process. A traffic impact study was not required of the applicant during rezoning. Regarding the wastewater and water master plans, the reference parcel is not currently connected to municipal utilities. Development of the property will require connection to the city's water and sanitary sewer systems. The development will be served through a looped water main system with connections to a 6-inch water main located at the termination of Red Maple Drive in West Meadows subdivision, and to a 6-inch water main located at the future intersection of North Cedar Avenue and West Meadows Drive. The development will connect to an existing 8-inch sewer main located at the termination of Red Maple Drive, which will serve lots 1 through 5 and lot 7. Lot 6 will be served by an 8-inch sewer main located at the termination of West Meadows Drive. The sanitary sewer system flows to the wastewater treatment facility. The water and sewer system currently have the capacity to serve the potential development. Regarding the zoning code, the preliminary plat of Akhtar Park has been platted for the construction of 1 single-family residential lot zoned ag, 1 multifamily residential lot, and 6 2-family residential lots and associated infrastructure, which includes public streets and sidewalks, public water and sanitary sewer mains, and stormwater detention. The parcel does not contain any special flood hazard areas. The subject does, however, contain 2 identified sinkholes. The geography of these sinkholes have been included on the preliminary plat, and requirements within the city's municipal ordinance limit new construction near sinkholes by requiring a 30-foot construction setback buffer. Regarding stormwater, the preliminary plat contains a stormwater detention area along the eastern sides of lots 1 and 2, and a second stormwater detention area in the northwest of lot 8, designed to control and release the release of stormwater attributable from the development. The plat contains a conceptual layout of the detention area. The area will be designed to mitigate existing conditions to reduce the amount of post-development flows to less than pre-development flows. The first stormwater detention area's outflow will flow onto adjacent property to the east of lots 1 and 2, while the second stormwater detention area's outflow will flow to the west of lot 8. A stormwater report will be reviewed by the technical review team during infrastructure design review phase. The stormwater detention area and all open space and common area will be maintained by a homeowners association. The design of all the streets, sidewalks, water, and sanitary sewer systems, as well as stormwater detention, will be reviewed and permitted during the infrastructure permitting process. Staff considers the proposed preliminary plat in general conformity with the requirements for preliminary plats and is recommending approval of the application.
Thank you. Discussion? Anybody have any questions or comments? Motion?
I don't know if he's interested in speaking. We do have. Dave, go ahead.
Thank you. Again, thanks to staff. Not much to add on this. I do want to indicate that, and I know what you have to treat what you're looking at as something totally new, but I did want to make everyone, so everyone was aware, this preliminary plat is conceptually identical to the plat that was submitted and approved 7 or 8 years ago. We haven't changed anything except for updating some verbiage and widening an easement at the city's request. And I believe that was all. Karen can correct me if I'm wrong, but conceptually, it's the same thing that was approved. Just a brief piece of history here. A preliminary plat was approved for this project several years ago. Construction drawings were approved for this project several years ago. A portion of that construction is in the ground, and we hope to reuse some of that, but we know that that'll need to be tested, and it's contingent upon city approval. But a lot of what is involved with this project is currently in place.
Is this this is the plat for the hearing that we had 3 months ago?
Yes, it's the one. We had a rezone where we voted to shift basically what was the R3 and the R2, a small shift to accommodate the road that's going through there. Those now align with that infrastructure. There
was several citizens that had concerns along North Butternut Avenue. Am I correct? Am I remembering it correctly?
We did have several people that came to speak at this public hearing.
Okay.
Are you done, Brandon?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Jump on in.
So the stormwater detention area will be maintained by a homeowners association. Is that, I mean, are these duplexes and apartments and they're paying a homeowner's fee, or is that in their rent, or how's that work?
Well, the homeowners association is made up of the owners of all the lots. So in effect, whoever is running those will be, there are instances where duplexes are sold, but in effect, it'll be maintained by the property management, the company who owns the property will be also maintaining those detention areas.
Okay.
Which is typical of all subdivisions. We require a homeowners association maintain those detention areas. This is just how this one happens to work out.
Okay. And then what is a loop water main? I know that's on a lot of different subdivisions that we see. What's the opposite of a loop water system?
We use a looped water main to, I believe, Garrett will correct me if I'm wrong, but to allow maximum fire flow. It allows us to get, a greater access to the water system in there. It's also something that's necessitated by ordinance.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It also helps to circulate the water through the system, so you don't have water aging issues where you get like a kind of like a dirty taste of the water, and you run out of the chlorination in the water.
Okay.
A loop, the opposite of a looped water system would be if it just ran down to the end of the road and stopped, as opposed to looping all the way around that. So what Garrett was saying is if it sits there, we have to go down and flush that every so often because it's taxing the system.
Okay, so that's not the loop system, is the one where you
Right. Yeah, we avoid that because it requires us to go in and maintain the water, and it's not good for the system.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Motion to approve SUBD-PRE 21-001, possible vote to recommend the approval of an application for a preliminary, sorry, phone's ringing behind me, for a preliminary plat for Adcar Park, a residential subdivision consisting of approximately 17.49 acres located at 634 West Hines Street.
For second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Pedersen.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, we move to the citizen participation. Any citizens left online who wish to speak to us about any matter that we've about planning and zoning, you should make yourself known and give us your chat us up. I don't see anybody, but I don't have a complete view of it. Is there anybody?
I'll throw something in. One, how far are we on Andy's and that commercial development over there on by Lowe's? What's the plan on that?
Well, we would love for you to check out our major project tracker. All of that information is updated in real time. But just to give you a little bit of a teaser, we are currently reviewing the building plans for Andy's and expect to have that completed tomorrow. I do believe that they are on schedule for opening sometime mid-summer. Date, I think, is still hopefully before July 1st. Our crews are about to start work on the construction of the street, the water, the sewer, and stormwater improvements behind the Andy's building site. So you should see things moving fairly quickly there in the next couple of weeks.
So I'm taking my commissioner hat off while I have this, and I'm putting my citizen hat on. I feel like we approve a lot of housing districts and the amenities are falling behind. Every time I go to lunch, it seems like every restaurant has like 30 people in the drive-through, and I'm trying to figure out at what point do the amenities that we offer, when I say amenities, I mean restaurants, dining, like shopping and all of that, does that catch up? Because our population is swelling, right? And we're adding so many houses that like nobody from outside the town is going to want to come in because we're so busy everywhere. So I just trying to figure out in the comprehensive plan, like where are we with trying to attract other commercial businesses so that it doesn't seem like everything's overran with people.
Well, I certainly appreciate your question and your observation. Excited to announce a couple of things coming up. One that was put on the tracker just this last week is the Burger King project, which will be located between Arby's and Aldi's. So that project will be coming forth. I just completed that review today. Our team did. So very close to permitting that. We also have a lot of interest right now in the city. And I can tell you, we just did an update on our, we kind of track all kinds of stats every month. We've had 40 pre-application meetings through the end of March. And I can tell you that is about 3 times as many as we would in a typical year. So what that pre-application meeting is anyone that's interested in either a residential or commercial development of some sort, they are required to come in and have a conversation with our technical review team. And that kind of gets the process started. Many times that process includes you all. It'll include some sort of subdivision or some sort of rezoning. Other times those parcels are already zoned for their permitted use. And so it goes straight into just the review of the building plans, which is about 50% of the time. So I can tell you, we have a lot of things that are coming forth very soon. And there are quite a few that we can't really put out there publicly yet. They haven't been submitted as an actual project, but we do expect some of those relatively soon. And I think you all will be very excited, both as commissioners to be a part of all of the exciting things that are happening in the City of Republic, but also as citizens that all get to enjoy some of these amenities.
Are you referring to the 2 lots behind Andy's?
I may be, and I may be referring to some other things also.
Okay.
When we get an application, that's the point at which we usually make these public. So as soon as we get an application, we'll put it up on our tracker map, and that's, a good place, to kind of figure out what those things are that are going on that we're looking at right now.
So that tracker map is actually, Chris updates that in real time. So I get a set of plans in, Chris sees them and he throws them up on that tracker. This last month he was looking at statistics of how many views, and it was just, Andy's blew it out of the water. So please refer people to that. If they don't know what's going on in the city, all of that information is available on our website.
We handily include a link to that in our emails to you.
Yes. So many exciting things to come. That kind of gateways straight into our comprehensive plan update. We are also very excited that we are on the tail end of this project. So we are coming to a point where we're getting ready to present that to you all for adoption. We do have a comprehensive plan open house scheduled for Wednesday, May 5th. So that's here in a couple weeks. That'll be here in our conference room. It's kind of just a come and go event to view all of the comprehensive plan materials. Our consultants that we've been working with will also be here all day. Chris and I will be here. Probably Andrew and Garrett will also be here to answer any questions. So it's a great opportunity for you all to get a little bit additional information prior to the adoption meeting. And then following week on our May P&Z meeting, that's Monday, May 10th, we'll have, along with several other items, we'll have the comprehensive plan ready for your adoption. So we'll have a presentation by staff and our consultants then, and then hopefully move to adopt that document.
So you said May 5th for that meeting?
May 5th, yes, which is a Wednesday.
And is that during the day?
Yes, it's between 9 and 4. We will have all of the materials for the comprehensive plan on our website. And then of course you all will get a copy as part of your packet for the upcoming meeting.
One of the things that you guys brought up, well, I think last month, is the possibility of us meeting in person again soon. Is that on the radar?
That is on the radar. So we were thinking it might be in May. It looks like it's probably going to be in June. We are currently remodeling the courtroom at the police station. That'll be the new council chambers. We will be meeting there in the future. It's looking like probably June. So please keep that on the radar. It's likely council will have a meeting there before we do. There may be some kinks, but I think that's going to be the plan. And then also remember, we had posed the question to you last month regarding moving the meetings from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. We haven't gotten everyone's responses, so please respond to Chris or I regarding whether you would have availability. It's still going to be on Monday night. We would just be shifting from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. and keep in mind that that will be a in-person meeting and likely to start in June. May, we are planning on having the meeting via Zoom.
In person with no restrictions?
There are likely going to be restrictions because the council chambers is not completely done. We are not, I don't know what those restrictions will be. I think for us as a group, the diocese itself and then the courtroom space, I think we can probably handle spacing ourselves out appropriate distances without too much difficulty.
Hey, Karen, just as a kind of a addition to that, one thing we've been talking about with the staff at the admin team is if there is a person who is uncomfortable to attend in person, we will make arrangements for you to attend via a virtual platform. But we would ask that everyone make every attempt to be in person if they can. So, and since I'm already talking, I'll just give a quick update. I want to take a minute to thank my staff. So Karen, Chris, Garrett, Josh, all those that are on here. What you're seeing going on in our community is tremendous, to say the least. So, and they're doing that with a staff that's not equivalent to a community that has that much going on. You know, just for an example, I talked with some of our counterparts in Greene County, and the county has 3 subdivisions in the entire county that are active at the moment, and we're working on 12 or 13. So a tremendous amount of work going on and development in our community. And to Brandon's point, a lot of these commercial businesses locate and choose communities based on the amount of traffic and populace that the city has. So the more we grow, the more we become attractive to businesses like that. That's all I have. I appreciate.
I have a comment about what you just said. All I can say is that if you've got houses, you better build them, because I watched for the last week a house across the street from me that's open, and there have been at least 10 to 15 vehicles waiting in line to see the house.
But there is a demand.
That way yesterday, they were there yesterday. They were there Saturday. They were there Friday.
Yeah.
Once, but there were consistently people there. So, and the realtor friends of mine that I know talk about the public, because the minute it comes open, it's sold.
It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of building that is going on. I mean, it hasn't slowed down at all, and building material prices have jumped way up. Like, I mean, 4 or 5 times on like sheathing and plywood. So, and it hasn't slowed anybody down. So, I mean, that's because they know they can sell it immediately after they're done building it. So
there's other factors that are causing that too. But
we're seeing tremendous favor in our community, and we don't discount that. There's a lot of things that have to play together to see what we're seeing. And like Karen said, I can't share what's coming. There are at least a half a dozen commercial developments that we're working on, to the point where they're expending funds to get them done. So I'm confident that they'll be here at some point, and then we'll be able to make that announcement with the commission soon.
That's awesome.
I hope
call for Vince Fazoli's.
Vince Fazoli's little side road there that used to go in front of Meeks. that goes down 60. I don't think it was ever a road, but it would go in front of the Andes and whatever other developments are going to be in those other two lots that have sold. Two McAllisters. You know what I'm talking about?
To Macadoodles?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Right?
I'm at Macadoodles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is shared access across the frontage, and then we're working with all of those developers and owners and lots to try to get a secondary circulation in the middle. So certainly some growing to do in the traffic department near Lowe's and Hamilton and all those things. And we're actively, I had a discussion today with MoDOT about Hamilton, the signal there, and improvements that are going to be warranted pretty quickly.
Well, it's kind of problematic because it comes into the road that goes to Lowe's so close to the light. But it's still, and with Andy's there'll be a lot of traffic on it. But I'm glad to see the commercial use will really help the city, and it'll help the school district. You know, so we're going to have a huge influx of money unless you tipped all of it. And I don't know the deal, unless you tip the warehouse building that's, you know, being built up there. There'll be a lot of money coming into the school district, property taxes.
Yeah, regular commercial doesn't apply for an abatement of real property. The Amazon project would qualify if they meet all the requirements, but I can tell you that even at 50%, the schools stand to see a substantial increase in revenue from the investment into that property.
That would be great. Just don't forget the schools, because the schools get you know, cities don't want to cut their sales tax, and I understand that. That's a resource. But in turn, when they TIF it ends up hurting the schools. And in this case, there's going to be an influx of a ton of kids if all these people that work out there live in the Republic School District. There's going to be a big influx of kids into the school district. So anyway, all in the future. Are we done?
Karen, I didn't get an envelope for this back. Do you want to still us just dropping those off to you, or?
Yeah, so that was our oversight this month. We forgot to send you a self-addressed stamped envelope to send it back to us. It may actually work in our favor because we haven't been getting those back before the next council meeting. Not you all's fault. It's just the post office has been kind of slow. So there are a couple different options. If you're available to drop them off in our office, that would be great. You can snap a picture of it and text it or email it to Chris or I. Or we can have somebody from our office actually come to your house and pick them up. We would like them tomorrow to make sure that we can get them to City Council, which is next Tuesday. So if you would sometime tomorrow, if you'll let us know your preference, we'll take care of getting those.
If you need to leave them on your porch, we'll pick them up. You know, just let us know what you want us to do.
Right.
Yeah, we can get them.
We know where you live, so you just let us know.
But yeah, we do have a council meeting right around the corner, so.
Don't send them by mail. It'll be 5 to 6 days.
Yeah.
In town.
So please do that. Let us know tomorrow how you would like to get the findings of fact. And then if in that email, you will also let us know if the 6 o'clock in-person meeting will work for you at the beginning of June.
Karen, I told you that in person. Do you still need me to write that to you or send it to you?
No, we'll make note that that'll work for you.
All right. You want to call the roll for that motion to adjourn that I heard? And
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Brandon, okay.
Third.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
and Commissioner Crosby.
Aye.
Perfect. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all. We'll see you in May. So Monday, May 10th. Have a great month.
Thanks,
Go to
guys.
bed, Gary.
Thank
You're
you.
tired.
Thank you.